Hey beauties, good afternoon to you beautiful people. All right, my beautiful Jamaicans. You know, I'm one of the patriotic country women. Let me put it that way. I believe in my country, despite the corruption, the evil, the wickedness, the necromancy, the occultism, and all the malevolent, sinister practices that take place here. I still love my country. I'm Jamaican, fully Jamaican, will always be Jamaican. You know, whether I live here or abroad, you know, I'm loyal and devoted to my country because I still have that hope, because without hope you don't have faith, that one day we can be even a little bit better. Not utopic, but a much better or somewhat better, moderately better, you know, country and people. I understand that because it is a small island, you know, we have an aggressive type parenting, no parenting, bad parenting, and that kind of practice and generational curse has passed on. So we tend to be horrible sometimes as a people. Unfortunately, towards each other, we implode and we explode. And that explosion, I would say, comes across, even for example, let us use Noah Lyles, the Olympic 100-meter gold medalist for the 2024 Olympics. And many people are crucifying him as though he was the one who said to the officials and the relevant authorities, do not give both Kishane Thompson and I the gold. He didn't do that. He, in fact, if you go back to the race, at the end, he thought Kishane had won and kind of, you know, rubbing him on the shoulder. I guess he said, all right, you know, brother, you beat me. So, and he, you know, he seemed as if he was going to take it as a good sportsman. And they gave it to him. The Bible says, whomever exalts themselves or him or herself will be abased, and whoever kind of lowers him or herself will be exalted. I'm not sure, because if Jamaicans are upset about things that they practice in a worse way, in terms of him, you know, some people call him Labamouth because he spoke on some things which were not personal things per se. If he had gotten up and said Jamaicans are this and that and was, you know, vilifying us and was vitriolic in his words, I could understand. But this hatred towards a man that even he medaled in the 200 meter, he ran a good time, people. If you talk to experts, especially of old and to current, running 20 flat over 200 meters is a fast time. He ran 1970 or something like that. So even though he came third, he ran a good time. Even in the 100 meter, 979 is good. Back in the day, when you run 10 flat, you know, you're considered a fast runner. Courtesy of the talented Asafa Powell with the whole, you know, breaking and going under 10 and running the most sub 10s. You know, we start to look at sub 10. But I don't understand Jamaicans. You make it seem as if the Olympics, you know, was just made, and when they said it, when it was made, only Jamaicans should enter the races and only Jamaicans should run. Is that one horse run the race and not only one type if you have different types of horses? Leave the man alone, guys. It doesn't look good. I don't believe in people tearing him down to lift up another. What if it were Kishane and so forth? You wouldn't want it to feel good to see them tearing him to shreds and saying he's this and that and the third and going on and on and on. All we need to do is celebrate the man, say congratulations, and celebrate our own countryman, and hope that our own countryman will, you know, get the gold for the next Olympic or for the next World Games or whatever it is, whatever championship event that will be taking place. See, I'm seeing an article coming out that the guy actually was tested positive for COVID, Noah Lyles. You know what I mean? So he had to come and run and do the best that he could. You know, whether it's a hoax or it's not right, whatever it is, you know. And I don't see him even at the end of the races behaving badly. Always has this smile, try to keep it cool on his face. If he's beaten it, you don't see him making up and going and vex. And, you know, and I see it with past athletes. Like they're upset and, you know, they wear their emotions on their sleeves, which I can understand because sometimes I do that. But good God, stop tearing the man down. The man actually suffers from asthma. He suffers from anxiety. He said it out of his mouth. He said he had to, you know, battle a lot of these things. So kudos to the man, big up to the man. He was not the one who told the officials not to give Kishane the gold as well, to share it. He did. As I said, when he came off, he thought that Kishane had won. He wasn't sure, because he didn't realize where he was, but he thought he had won. And ready to say, all right, good job, fellow, or whatever it is. And when they see it was Kishan, was saying, come on, man. Because he himself too, Kishan thought he was, but then again, he said, he himself, wasn't sure. Come on, guys. I just don't understand why, as Jamaicans, we deal with things crabby, we deal with things horrible, aggressive, tearing down other people. Look at poor Janelle. Look at what some of you people do to people on a day-to-day basis in terms of slandering, which is speaking truth but with evil intent, in terms of gossiping, speaking lies, which you predominantly do, destroying people's lives. People have to be on medication because of some of you. People have ended their lives, committed suicide because of you, have caused others to kill people literally and figuratively because of you. And because as a very young girl, she shares some things which that once the head meets the pillows, they're going to have pillow talk. Everyone practices that. Barring none. I don't care who the individual is. You could bring Mother Teresa. You could bring Mahatma Gandhi. Bring the most sweetest human being. They're flawed. And they don't necessarily do it to gossip. They just have a talk. You have to talk about what is happening. There's a curiosity in us and there's communication in us. So we're going to talk. Nobody's just going to sit unless they're mute. And even mute people are going to do sign language. What we call dumb in Jamaica. Not dumb as in stupid, but as in you can't literally speak. I don't like it. I'd never ever like people tearing down one to lift up another. We don't need to speak like that. If somebody's great, they're just great. Just like, for example, Usain Bolt. When people saying that his record is going to be broken, I just smiled, I chuckle. Because I don't think people understand the magnitude of a man he is. I don't think people understand the magnitude of a man he is. He's really the fastest man in terms of first place, second place, and third place. Because he ran 9.58, 9.63, for those who have forgotten, 9.69. So he would share the 9.69 with two others. So, and those times are not easy times to run. He was just a class actor. He was just made completely differently and made definitively for this sport. He was just that mogul. That pioneer in terms of athletics, in sprinting. God just said, just as how I made Whitney Houston with The Voice and Michael Jackson in terms of entertainment and dancing and so on. Usain Bolt is that. Bob Marley is this one for reggae music. Not to say that others aren't great, you don't have other greats. They're just made differently and we just have to accept that. Until God says, I'm going to bring somebody who is seemingly better, who will do better times consistently. Please note it's not just a one-off thing too. The man did it on over 3 or 4 consecutive world and Olympic championships and so on. And ran when it mattered. In terms of when I say ran, did with a breaking of records and doing some fantastic times when it really and truly mattered. So that he could preserve his body and have that longevity in the business. Leave Noah Lyles, people. The way I even hear commentator, you have to settle again for the. And I'm saying, when the vex with him, I like him, God went to the people and said, no, give me the gold. He thought that other guy had won. It's not for him to lobby, it's for the people of Jamaica to have lobbied. And they said they had a 30-minute window if you didn't feel good about it. Because that whole, whatever you want to call millisecond or whatever the thing is, they said only will work if you're in the semi-finals. And, then you would have to make, and it's maybe 2, you have to now choose one. So you have to look at everything. And somebody was reminding me that, for example, Oblique Civil, was it the last World Championships, 4 of them ran 9.88 and nobody lobbied for him. And he took 4th place. Nobody lobbied for him. No one had, I couldn't believe it. 4 of them ran 9.88. Come on, Jamaican people. We need to actually do a little bit better than that. We don't need to tear down the fellow to lift up what's his name. We don't need to tear him down to do that. Just celebrate it. The guy still got a silver. Thompson still got a silver. And Civil still went to final. I don't know. Noah Lyles have not done you anything. He has not spoken negatively against the Jamaicans. Even if him says someone wise, it wasn't, you know what I mean, tearing down. Something malevolent. Come on. And even Janelle, poor girl. Oh, God. Guys, you know what to do in terms of TikTok and YouTube.